If the goal of your lead generation is to book more discovery calls, then this is the lead generation strategy for you. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful videos to building out the individual elements of this funnel strategy. So let's go ahead, jump right in. What are the components you need in order to take someone from, I don't know who you are, to actually booking a strategy, sales, or discovery call, whatever you decide to call it. So here is what the entire lead generation process is going to look like. I'll link up in the cards in the description to lots of playlists on how to actually run traffic. But here we're going to be focused on the landing page, what specific type of lead magnet you should be using, the 5 emails to send out to actually bridge the gap between someone joining your email list and actually booking that strategy call, and of course, what needs to go on the booking page in order for this entire process to work. So we're actually going to go from back to front, kicking things off with the booking page. Now, the good news when it comes to your booking system, all of the hard work of rapport building and marketing is done. And essentially at this point, we're just trying not to screw anything up or give someone a reason not to book a call with you. So even if you have a completely open schedule, I highly recommend checking out Set More, Calendly, or Book Like a Boss. Those first two are actually going to have free plans you can use, and then Book Like a Boss just has more features if you're trying to collect payments up front. And the advantage of this is you're not going to have those back and forth emails where you're trying to manually schedule calls, because no one really likes that. They just want to go to a page, click, this is the time I can do it, and then the system will automatically notify them to confirm the time. Because I can tell you from personal experience, it's no fun having multiple leads and then you wind up booking strategy calls that are 5 minutes apart or at the same time because you were waiting on one person and you gave 2 people the same 4 or 5 hour time slot. Like I used to do as a complete noob because I had plenty of time. I just wanted them to talk to me. I didn't care what time of day I had to wake up or stay up in order to try and get the client, although I digress. So what needs to go on this page? Well, like I said, the good news is there's not a whole lot that needs to go on here. So all you need to do is have a headline and subheadline that clearly restates that this is a complimentary strategy or discovery call or whatever you're going to be calling the sales call, a clear way to actually schedule when they're going to talk to you, a actual picture of yourself. Please, please, please put a picture of yourself or a picture of whoever they're going to be talking to humanize this process and just prove that, yes, you are a real person who's relatable. And then, of course, finally, we want the appointment form where we collect the minimum amount of information, that being the name, number, and, of course, the time that they want to book with you. So here's an example of what this page might look like. Of course, depending upon whatever service you're using, it might look a little different. What is important, though, is if you want to do any sort of pre-strategy call questionnaire, that comes after they book the call. So if you want to use something like Google Forms for free, ask them a couple questions so you can do some research and prepare for the call, then go ahead and do that after you have that confirmation. You want to make this process as easy as possible. And so with your booking page down, it's time to go to the previous step, and that's going to be the email. So what do we send to people in order to get them to this page? Now, if you don't already have an email autoresponder or you don't already have a list because you're just getting started for the first time, then you're actually just going to have a call to action inside of your lead magnet. Or you can also include calls to action to your booking page on your content and ads as well. So that's why I recommend setting this up first, because you're going to build the booking page and then you work on building out everything else, which is why we're going back to front. So when it comes to email marketing, there are only 5 emails you need to send out if you're following this strategy where you have a landing page, they get a high value lead magnet, which we'll talk about at the end. And then of course we have their email address and we're going to want to send them a series of emails driving them to that booking page. Now, the reason that this works so well is because hopefully they've already gone through the lead magnet, they've found value in it, and now we're trying to transition them from, hey, I was really helpful with the lead magnet. Imagine how helpful I could be if we actually got on the phone and talked about whatever you're trying to achieve or overcome. So with this sequence, I will link up in the cards in the description to a full-blown email marketing tutorial. Here, we're just going to 80-20 the process and talk about the individual emails and then go through a quick example of what these types of emails might look like. So the first email, all we're going to do is deliver that lead magnet. Then the second email, we'll talk about a big roadblock they face. The third email, we'll talk about a hero story of success. And then emails 4 and 5, we're going to be a little more explicit with that call to action saying, hey, here's why you really should book a free call with me because it's going to be super helpful. And here's what past people have had experiences with just a strategy call. Of course, if you don't have past people, because most of us don't, then you can just talk about what they're going to be able to achieve or overcome as a result of actually booking a strategy call with you. Now, the reason that this is only a 5 email sequence is because we don't want to annoy people, right? So after 5, or you can push it to 7 emails, if they haven't taken action, then they're probably not going to book a call with you. And you might as well just leave them on your email list and follow some other strategy to monetize them or convert them later on down the road. So here's an example of what an email in this sequence might look like, because I'm a huge fan of story. 43 minutes and 28 seconds in, my palms are starting to get sweaty. Up until this point, I've been calm, but coming up to the hard part, the part where I never know exactly what to do or how to do it. It's almost been a year, and yet I can't get over this last hurdle. So when you are using a story to illustrate a point, either talking about a result that you or a previous client have achieved, or talking about a roadblock that previous clients or people in their situation are dealing with and you've actually overcome, you want to start at the climax of the story. And you'll see that this is actually, there's not really all that much exciting. This is just about a sales call, but you can kind of spruce up the story a little bit to add some emotion to it. So then the next part, we go to the setup of the story. And this is where we give the reader some context as to where the heck the hook is actually taking place. So for the setup here, we have, I'm on my 3rd sales call of the day, and this happens every dang time. It's just 90 seconds away now. I can feel it. The question, I never know how to answer. And then we go straight into the roadblock. So we have the setting, and the setting should only take a sentence or 2, and it doesn't have to be super detailed, right? We're not writing a novel here. It's just, we're on a sales call, or we're in a pitch, or we're in the gym. Where are we? What are we doing? Okay, let's move on to the roadblock. So the roadblock is, how much do you charge? Gulp. Will I get it right this time? Some sales calls ended in a high ticket sale. Others ended with a sense of dread for the lower price I'd settled for. So here we go through, here's the giant roadblock, and then here's the negative result that normally happens because we don't overcome that roadblock. Think of it like you're trying to overcome a hurdle or a small wall, and you just smack your face and fall down. You don't actually get over it, right? And so then we offer the solution of how we could actually scale and get over that wall. My example's falling apart. So let's go back to the pre-written email. It was out of the frustration of my cowardice that I created a simple system for pricing, a carefully formulated structure to keep me confident and profitable with every client. And so this one sentence is just representing a solution to the problem. We're not getting into the details of exactly how the solution works. We're just presenting the fact that, hey, you know what? I've had this struggle too, and here's the solution I came up with. Well, how do they get the solution? That's where the call to action comes in. And this is normally going to be where you have your strategy call. Now, this particular email was just to a piece of content, but I could have just as easily changed this email's call to action to say, book a call so we can go over your pricing plans and structure and help you be more successful. So here's how the call to action and email ended up. If you've ever struggled to determine what you're worth or how much you should be charging, click to check out this video here. So instead of click to see the video, it would be click to book a strategy or discovery call. Then we go on to the PS section. This is normally a place where you just have another call to action. There is no one size fits all when it comes to pricing services. This is handling an objection. You have to balance your worth with your client's ability to pay. Watch now to make sure you aren't leaving money on the table. And then again, a link to what would be the booking page. So you can also handle an objection here. Here I'm handling the objection of one size fits all, because if someone's going to go watch a video, they might think, well, he's in digital marketing and that's probably what he's going to be talking about, right? So that does it for your email sequence. And now let's talk about how we get these emails in the first place. If you're getting some value out of this video, go and hit that like button. Remember, lots of links in the cards and the description to help you with actually physically building out this lead generation strategy. So when it comes to your landing page, less is more here. We really want to minimize the amount of text and information that we ask for. Now, counterintuitive to the fact that you want to book a strategy call at the end of this lead generation process, On your landing page, you only want to ask for two things. You want the name and you want the email. And the reason that you only want name and email is because you want to lower the barrier to entry for someone to join your email list, because the more information you ask for, the less leads you'll get. So there's kind of like an inverse relationship. Well, not kind of, it actually is. Okay, so what do we put on our landing page? All we need is a headline, optional subheadline, 3 or 5 bullet points, because odd bullet points seem to convert better for some reason, a picture of your lead magnet, don't worry, we'll get to that, and a really in-depth video, a picture of you, and of course, the form, opt-in form to collect that information. So with your headline, all you're doing is grabbing attention, and you want to clearly communicate the results that the lead magnet is going to help them overcome. Of course, I'll link up in the cards in the description to a full-blown copywriting video that goes through all the intricacies of this. We're just 80/20ing the process, so you have a good overview of the strategy to follow to get more discovery calls. So the next step is going to be interest, and this is going to be either 3 bullet points or 5 bullet points, where you talk about how this lead magnet is going to save them time, money, essentially make life easier. We'll get to the 2 best types of lead magnets. Now, desire, it works best if you have some sort of testimonials, but most of us don't. So you can quote yourself. You're totally allowed to do that. So have a picture of yourself and then 2 to 3 sentences that talks about how or why you developed this lead magnet and how you think it's going to be very helpful in them being successful. So we're not bragging or talking about how cool we are here. We are always focused on our ideal customer, because we want to really tell them that, hey, we really think this lead magnet is going to be valuable and helpful to you. And of course, we have the call to action where we ask for just the name and email. With this particular type of strategy, I highly recommend keeping the name field in there, because you want to have that ability to personalize the emails a lot more, because you're trying to build a lot of rapport to get someone to actually get on the phone with you, because that is a huge, huge ask. And that's why we don't ask for the phone number on this page, because people don't know if they want to talk to you yet. They just want to read your emails and check out your lead magnet and see if you're actually a valuable person and worth their time. So we have to demonstrate that we are worth their time before we start actually asking for their phone number, which is a lot more personal than an email. And one of the ways you can do that is by asking for the name and using their name to build better rapport in your email sequences. And even if you don't, it's just good information to have when you start getting more advanced later on down the road. So now let's talk about the one thing that actually helps power this entire process, and that's going to be your lead magnet. Because after all, no one's going to join your list just because you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to send you a couple of emails and try to sell you on the fact that we should hop on the phone so I can sell you my service. Probably not going to work too well. So there are actually 2 different types of lead magnets I recommend when it comes to this specific lead generation strategy. And the first one we have is some sort of checklist or audit. And the point here is to essentially magnify the mess of whatever roadblock or problems that your potential clients and customers are dealing with. So as an example here, we have an analytics checklist, and all this was a 3, I think it was actually wound up being 5 pages total, but 3 pages of things that our potential customers or clients could go through and see all of the things that were wrong in their analytics account. Now, what's important with the audit is there are some actionable steps someone can take to solve some problems. But in the audit, we also included things that we knew someone who, unless they were a developer, would not actually be able to fix. And that's not to say that we were trying to be mean, like, haha, you can't fix this without hiring us. It's more of, look, you can fix these things right now. We're going to give you something that you can do to improve your situation, but it's more like duct tape, and you really, really need to fix this bigger problem. Let's hop on the phone to talk about how we can actually solve this and some steps you can start to take. So you do need to provide value in terms of, yes, you can solve some problems now, but you also want to point to some bigger problems that are either going to totally destroy results later on down the road, or something that they are completely unaware of that is actually secretly sabotaging their success. But the key here is that there is something in the audit that they can do right now, because if you just talk about all the stuff they can't fix, they're not going to book a strategy call with you. Now, the second one on our list is going to be some sort of template. So this is helping someone go from point A to point B. There are a lot of different types of templates. As an example here, we have our Tag Manager playbook, and this one actually is converting pretty well for us. It's one of our newer ones. And all it is a 5-page PDF that helps someone stay organized with all of their tracking. You can see analytics and Tag Manager, so you kind of know what our agency is about. But when it comes to the template, you're essentially starting the work for for your potential customer. You're helping them out with a project that they are working on, and the template should not hold anything back. So some other examples of some good templates would be email templates or any kind of communication script. And then another template example here could be an investment worksheet where if you were a financial advisor, you could provide a one-page quick, here's how to evaluate a stock or here's how to evaluate a company. Now, when it comes to your lead magnet, something that is really important, which I link up in the cards in the description on a really in-depth video on how to use Canva to actually make these lead magnets, is to, of course, have a clear call to action to book a strategy call with you. And so hopefully they go through your entire lead magnet, kind of like this example here. And at the very bottom, after presumably they've gotten a tremendous amount of value and had their eyes open, whether it's a template or an audit, you can go ahead and have a clear button for them to click to book that discovery call with you. And of course, if they don't click from the lead magnet, hopefully they click from one of the emails. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. And most importantly, you have a clear picture of how powerful this lead generation strategy can be to actually book more strategy and sales calls for your business. So hopefully you get some more clients out of it. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive marketing videos just like this one. And as always, keep building the business you love.